Yes.
Memory is also possible only from Chaitanya or from Ishvara. From the standpoint of the faculty of remembering, it is Ishvara. But from the standpoint of memory, Smriti, it is pure consciousness Chaitanya. In the sense, what he says is, when he says Mattaha, Bhagavan says it is due to me, Mattaha. When he says Mattaha, Mattaha, which I have already told you in the 7th chapter. Mattaha Anyaha Na. Mattaha, wherever Bhagavan says Mattaha, to really understand your reality, you can say, because of me, there is memory. I am aware of my memory. I am aware of my forgetting. I am aware of my knowledge, what I know and what I don't know. I am not what I know and what I don't know. I am above that. Then what is that? That I is Chaitanya. And that reality is Ishvara's reality. We have said always, so that should strike you all the time. So that you will not be like any result. Mattaha, next para he says, karma paladata from the Ishvara standpoint. But you must also know from the standpoint of consciousness, Chaitanya is remembering, knowing and forgetting, and all whatever results that come is basically, that okay, if it is not as per the, if I go to the exam and I don't do well because I have forgotten, I didn't remember, or I didn't understand, or I have unnecessarily got myself tensed up. I should have kept listening and kept away for at least 3 hours before the exam. I got into it unnecessarily with tense. That is why I didn't perform well. We all know that. Who is that? Who is that? Not the fellow who is intellectual, not the fellow who is wonder, not the fellow who is understood, not the fellow who is forgotten. It is being in all of us, we are seeing all that. But we are not aware. We get so much identified performing actor. Whereas actor is you, but you are not the actor. You are aware of the actor. That A could be there is Amitabh Bachchan, but Amitabh Bachchan is not beggar. It has to be there in our every moment in our life. Then we will not get, I know, if I have not done well, I have not done well, so what? And in the role play, there is either some papa or my unnecessary and undue preparation. I have not concentrated properly, or I have got nervous. All that I know, no, it's not that I don't know, but we are not honest. We always try to put some blame on somebody. Or self-condemn. I am useless. That is not the way to look at life. That is pratibhasikam. That is precisely what I am trying to say. Whereas we think, no, vyavahara, it's all vyavahara. Bhagavan says as Bhagavara, Ishvara, Srishti and all because he knows very well. If you don't know what is pratibhasikam and what is vyavaharikam, you have no business to say that it's all only vyavaharika. Because you don't take vyavaharika as vyavaharika. Yathartham is not there in our lives. So that is why we have to re-look at the whole thing. First you have to get to the vyavahara level, taking vyavahara as vyavahara. Not passing judgment on others or self-condemning. And for that to happen, there should be something more embellishing in your life. That is reality. That reality is your reality. Is Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinnam Atma is your reality. Unless that becomes really real for you, it will be academic. Once you go out of the class, it will become all your anxieties come back along with that. Like even Prabodha Samaya, when you wake up from sleep, all your previous night grievances come along when you wake up. Night you slept well because fortunately for that period it was all dormant. So you don't really wake up. Prabodha Samaya means you are not really waking up. You are carrying all your grudges, all your past mistakes, all the past misunderstanding. So when we go into this Gita and finally when we come to this time, we must be, Bhagavan expects this at all the time with Mattaha Anyaha Na. I am really aware of my Chaitanya as my Sarupa. Now I am looking at the various possibilities, what are all happening. And he says that everything is me only. When he says everything is me only, it is not only Ishvara, it is also you. Your reality is all this. In you all these things are happening. So, you are above all these things. You are not really cowed down by all these things that are happening.
Swamiji, he says, from the standpoint of the faculty of remembering, it is Ishvara. What does that actually mean? Why he says Ishvara, remembering alone?
Ishvara, because that is how we look at all the vibhutis. We generally put it on Ishvara.
Yes, okay.
Karma phala data and all that. That is fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But that is also Chaitanya.
Oh, yes.
What is the Swarupa of Ishvara?
That's what. That's Chaitanya. That's why I know.
That we should understand. That understanding has to happen. The Asi, we are in the Asi portion of life of this Gita. Tvapada is understood. Yes. Tatpada is understood. Now we are in the Asi Pada. The equation. The equation has to be clear to us. So every time we are talking about Ishvara, you must be able to say Chaitanya. It is my reality. So then when that is sinking in your life, then only Ishvaroham. Then Sarvatma Bhava. This whole thing is Sarvatma Bhava. Because as I said, what is Sarvam is only Kalpitam, changing. So that is called, we are in the Sweta Varaha Kalpa. Kalpa means what? Changing. It's not reality. Then what is the reality? You and I, our reality is the Chaitanyam. And that is the same reality of Ishvara. Which he said in the second chapter itself. Ajopi sanna, ve atma sanna, bhutanam ishvaropi sanna. So prakritim swam adhishtaya sanbhavami atma mayaya. I also should say the same thing. Prakritim swam adhishtaya sanbhavami atma mayaya. In my, as Chaitanya, in my life, atma mayaya, whatever happens is in my adhishtanam, it is happening, I observe it, I respond accordingly, that's all. But as far as I am concerned, there is one Chaitanyam, one Sat alone is life. Everything else is Nama Rupa. Okay, I am talking and you are listening, so there is Gayatri listening, Ramesvarananda talking. That is only for communication, but in reality, you and I are one and the same. That should be 100%. Then, whatever we need to do, we will do. At no point in time, we don't have to look for what happened last moment. What last moment is again a Namarupa. Next moment is again a Namarupa. What I see is also, like you said, your background, I know there is nice background is there, but I know that it is not real. Likewise, even your Namarupa is not real, I know. That is how we should be able to navigate. In the sense, then, Sat is. So, isness is this presence is the only reality. Everything else is changing. And because the changeless me is there, I am able to observe all these things and adequately with the limbs and with our whatever samagri I have in life, I am able to live the yajna called life. Just do whatever. Keep doing. It will all fructify. It will all present the way in which life presents itself. What you are supposed to do in the next moment, it presents itself. It is not because you think that you are a karta, it presents. No. As being, as Chaitanya also, still the life will be presenting itself before you. You have to just adequately respond. Time and again. You got all the skills and talent. Whatever to that extent possible, keep navigating it. And no, don't add value to it. It's bad, it's good. It is sukham, isam, dukkam. Everything, all opposites are mithya. That way, live in the platform of ground of reality and navigate life. Then the understanding is complete. That is what we are getting into now. That is what he is saying. When he says this, all this, you must be able to bring that into that.
Actually, Swamiji, first step, from what you say, I think this for Vyavahara, First step will be to create a space for every stimulus and response, every
Yes,
situation.
correct. Correct. You must
If
be
you have
able
a
to
space,
create that
then
space.
that alertness will come. That,
Yeah.
like you said, I
Once
am.
this is where abhyasa and also what do you call? Sense, you must be own up that, able to own up that reality. Otherwise, what will happen is dissociation. It should not be dissociation. The space should be real.
Yes, yes.
So that is equal, that is important, and whether it's something in normally you would have called it as good or bad. Either way, you must be able to respond that way. It is not that something bad happens, I respond. Something good happens, I own it up.
Because,
No,
like
it's
you
fine.
said, like you
That is where
said,
the problem is. If you are not alert, once you are something good happens, you will identify totally. Then when the bad happens, naturally you will identify. So when good happens also, you must be able to, okay, yeah, okay, nice, good. Of course, when you are dealing with the world, others may not understand. You can appreciate, you can go with them and all that, they are celebrating, fine. But you don't, inside you be very clear. Okay, nice, fine.
Also sometimes, you think you are higher than by
Yeah, that is
creating this.
precisely the problem, though, in the sense that you cannot, in the sense that is why I say it should be real.
Yes,
Space should be real. It should not be only convenience. Then it becomes dangerous. Then it becomes double personality. That is worse than not being. It's better. Cry and laugh. Both you can do along with the world. Nothing wrong. But if you are not going to cry, you should not laugh also. Meaning, that space should be there. Even when something. Because even that ishtam, anishtam should go out of your vocabulary. The psyche should not say it is ishtam and anishtam. Opposite should not be there in your psyche. Like typically we have said in the long back, Sitoshnam. Both are only temperature. You can't say it is hot and cold and all that. Once the words come in, hot and cold, then naturally you will respond accordingly. Hot you won't like, cold, okay, nice. So, alertness, that is where the words, Nama Rupa, has to be, words are words, that's all. Word and meaning, it's only that much of importance. But reality is beyond that word and meaning, space, it is the being, all through, changeless. That is my basis, that is my ground on which I live. That is what meditation is all about. That is the Shruti. Should be ringing in your ears all the time, something true. That's why it's called Shruti. Shastra is called Shruti only for that reason. In the same where
Apohana, forgetfulness, is a blessing indeed. Not only this.
That we already said that.
yeah, you have read that. I think that para is over.
In the same way, one's capacity to pick up a moment of joy is also not possible without apohana. If one remembers all one's problems, how can one laugh even for a moment? That one is capable of laughing even for a moment proves the point that one has apohana. This is the greatest grace of Bhagavan.
See here, beautiful. This statement itself makes it very easy for us to understand. See, even with all our problems, when there is a slapstick joke, we immediately laugh. How it happens? If dukkha is real, you should not laugh even for a moment. You are able to laugh. That means what? Dukkha is only a condition of the mind. Then with the condition of the mind, why are you identifying yourself with? That means there is something mistaken identity. That is what he says. How can one laugh even for a moment? That one is capable of laughing? Because apohana, Bhagavan has given it as a vibhuti. Meaning, Chaitanya, our reality has that vibhuti. Here he says Bhagavan has given us that vibhuti. Actually, the Chaitanya has that vibhuti. In the sense, nothing is really sticking to us. We think that it is sticking. That is why we are able to laugh.
Yes.
That is why we are able to sleep also, no? Otherwise, how will you go to sleep? But every day you are sleeping. Likewise, Swamiji always used to say that even when dukkam is happening in a house, you will be crying, but then when somebody gives you a coffee, you will drink the coffee and then cry. That is a ritual now it has become. Even when you go for a death, you will have to give a coffee. That means what? Bhagavan, our own way of living makes it very clear to us. Everything is changing. Okay, death is only an event. You are not going to die just because somebody else has died, even though you may be crying very close and all that. But still you have your coffee. You don't forget. No one, because of their dukkha in life, forgets to eat his breakfast.
That's what, like,
Promptly have his breakfast, lunch, everything.
no, like
Then
you
cry.
said, I've heard from Krishna Premi Swami. He used to mention what you said just now, and he used to say, he used to refer to the wife. The husband is dead, but the wife, although she's crying her heart out and all that, when somebody says, no, kudi, paravalu, koncha kudi, she will have it. And then she'll again cry. He will say that always.
Very true. We have to see that. At that moment, it doesn't look proper to say those things. But must be here when you are talking in the class, we have got the luxury to look at it all objectively. And with this objectivity, we must be able to take it into our life. It should not be just academic. That's what he says.
At that time, so much of, I couldn't understand. Even though he used to talk about these things, I never could really, it never sank in, I would say.
Yeah, that is why we have to spend time, we have to dwell on it. What all Swamiji tells, why he says, all those things, we must look at it again and again. Then only we will be able to understand that. And once you understand, it becomes your learning. Thereafter, it is not an information or it's not knowledge.
Exactly, yes.
The information knowledge means you have to remember. And only when I look at the book, I remember.
That's what we are doing now.
It is not, that knowledge and information may be useful for accountancy and office and all that. Not for your life. Your life, you have to live a truthful life and the truthful life is an understanding life. My reality, basically, very, very important. That is what we are looking at, yeah.
Otherwise, one would always be under the spell of dukkha. There will be no way of picking up the small joys which make living worthwhile. So, apohana need not be translated only as forgetfulness. It can also mean the capacity to suspend, at the same time, all one's ideas. In this sense, it is the basis for memory, smriti, and knowledge, jnana. Because without this apohana, they cannot occur. Because of consciousness alone, one is capable of forgetting, and the forgetting mind is illuminated by consciousness. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Mattaha smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. From me, the consciousness or memory, knowledge and forgetting.
See, so clearly he says, from me the consciousness. Me, we think Ishvara. He says, from me the consciousness. He identifies with you. From me the consciousness, all these capabilities. So why, when he is able to identify with you, why you are not willing to identify yourself with him? So that is what we should do, yeah.
All these, smritihi, jnanam and apohanam, are not possible for an individual without consciousness, the Chaitanya Atma. And there is no Ishvara without Chaitanya Atma, and there is no Ishvara without Chaitanya Atma. So from me, consciousness, which is not separate from Ishvara, knowledge is possible, memory is possible, forgetfulness is possible. I am the one to be known through all the Vedas. By all the Vedas, the one that is to be known as Ishvara is Ishvara. How can we say that? Many things are told in the Vedas, various rituals, deities and so on. By saying, I alone am the one to be known by all the Vedas, Vedaihi sarvaihi aham eva Vedaya.
Vedayaha, yeah.
Vedaya.
Vedaihi sarvaihi ahameva Vedayaha. Listen, I am the one to be known through all the Vedas. Yeah.
We understand that everything that is said in the Vedas is nothing but Ishvara. Agni, Indra, Varuna, and other Devatas are all Parameshwara as the one who gives the results of action, Karma Phaladata. The one who presides over the law of karma, Karma Adhyaksha. The Karma Kanda of the Veda reveals Ishvara as Saguna Brahma in all these forms as well as the form of the agent, Karta, all worlds and all objects. When you refer to a part, Gata, it is nothing but consciousness conditioned by the name and form, Namarupa called Gata. For a wise man, every single object is non-separate from Ishvara, and that Ishvara is recognized by the Vedas. I am the author and knower of the Vedas.
See here also, when he is talking about consciousness conditioned by the name and Gata, likewise we must be able to, in the sense, in the sense when he says Gata, in the sense, Gata consciousness is, the sense, the thought has a reality only because of consciousness. And it is because you say it is part. Otherwise, it is only consciousness. Likewise, if you say it is clay, it is clay. Otherwise, it is clay consciousness, only consciousness. All the way, if you keep on looking at it, everything is only Chaitanyam. And all the Nama Rupas, even the forgetting, memory, knowledge, everything is only Nama Rupa. It's all useful for transactional purpose. But you cannot diverse it from conscious being, the consciousness. And that is the reality of Ishvara. When Ishvara says this thing, he is very much clear that he is consciousness. From me, all these things happen. When he says it's all Karma Phala Data, when he says, it is very clear that the movement in consciousness only because of certain things happened before and certain things happen later. It's all part of the changing. That part of it is very, very clear for him. That is why he says, from me only all this things are happening. If you are also very, very clear, you will also understand the same way. So you will never get flustered or get very sitting the ceiling when something good happens or something bad happens in your life. You will just live your life yathartham and just navigate, do what is to be done. Even keep doing, keep moving. Your faculties are body, mind, senses are given for a certain purpose. Just utilize them. And let life be lived like a yajna. So it's a continuum. It is not plus, minus and all that. It's a continuum. And it will present itself automatically. And the only thing is, when you are doing that, you will be in the pool of people who are not into this inquiry. So they will have a lot of value for all those things that are happening. So that should not disturb you. You must be able to empathize with them and accommodate them, accept them, gracefully accept them. Not even condescendingly accept them.
Yes.
Gracefully accept. Don't give them the feeling that you are somebody great. You accept them, be yathartham. That is where Jadaval Lokam Acharya. Just be around them and accept their feelings and all, validate. But don't get bugged into that. Then you will not be even helpful to them also. So if you start reacting also, nobody gets benefited. If you are able to be in the yathartha person, you will be able to be helpful to others. And you will also be not affected. Both ways it benefits. Very important, yeah.
I am the author and knower of the Vedas. The next question is, who is the author of the Vedas? He must be even greater than the one who is known through the Vedas. No, that is not so. That is why the Lord says, I am the author of Veda, Aham Vedanta Krite. Vedanta. Aham Vedanta Krite.
Yeah.
The one who is the initiator of the Sampradaya, the traditional teaching of Vedanta, is Ishvara. In this tradition, the original Guru is called Narayana. Naturally, he is the one who knows the meaning of Veda Vedavitte. Bhagavan says, the one who to be known is me, the one who initiated the Vedas is me, and the one who knows the Vedas is me. The one who knows the Vedas is the one who knows what is to be known by the Vedas. That is Paramatma. It is complete. The food that is there in the vegetation is me, the prana and the body, which is nothing but modified food is me. The earth that produces the food is me, the sun and planets are all me. Because of me alone, all activities are possible. Without me, there is no memory, no knowledge, and no forgetfulness. A brief description of the glories of Ishvara is given here with reference to some important upadhis. There are many upadhis, but only the special ones like the sun, moon, fire, etc. are mentioned in these 4 slokas.
Upadhi, that itself should give you the idea. We have always discussed what is Upadhi. Upadhi is only Nama Rupa. In the sense, it is a defect. Upadai, we say, no, Upadai. Upadai means what? It's a defect. Defect meaning it is not as it appears. The reality is not as it appears. It appears with some Nama Rupa. But the reality is Chaitanya. If that you understand, then you will always be like Ishvara. In the sense, it will be in the samatvam will be there, like even in Ishvara, you will also be, it's all happening. In my being, it's all happening. Everything has to have a cause-effect connection. Because of this, this happens. Because of this happens. It will keep happening. Unless, to that extent possible, I can change. To that extent, it is not possible, I gracefully accept. And I have the wisdom to know the difference between. That famous sloka is there, serenity prayer. Let me have the serenity to accept things which I cannot change. Let me have the will and effort to change things I can. Let me have the wisdom to know the difference. Here we are talking about the wisdom. Wisdom is the most important factor. Not whether you can do or you don't do. But to that extent possible you will be doing. That is why all your limbs are there, your faculty of intellect, everything is there. It's all given. You will do to that extent possible. But you must be able to discern that what is not possible is also grace. What is possible also is grace. Both, if you are able to accept that, then you will be above both of them. What is possible and what is not possible. That is wisdom. So that is possible. It is in that sloka, it is purely mentioned as a practical way of looking at life. Here we are talking about the reality. The reality itself is beyond what is possible and what is not possible, what is known and what is not known, what is forgetfulness and what is memory. Because I am aware of all that. At any point in time, you are aware that what you know and what you don't know, what do you remember and what you don't remember. Why you have done a mistake, I didn't remember this. So I am aware of it. Then you must be above that. No, you cannot get bugged by the mistake that has happened. Because you know, if you are not in that understanding, what will happen? You will always looking for an excuse. You will always blame somebody or blame yourself. Because you are operating from the state of the mind or body or senses or emotions. All of them are not you. So you have to step up. Once this understanding is there, you must be able to step up. You must be able to operate from the level of the Chaitanyam and look at all this as Tartham. It's all part of the changing way of living. How it is. Life is like that. Continuously changing. Because it is mithya anyway.
Swamiji, that Upadhi, in the very beginning, when I started learning Vedanta, I have written Upadhi as that which obstructs. Is it correct? That which obstructs. Is it a correct meaning?
In the sense that obstructs the reality, basically. You can say that obstructs the reality. It is not, in the sense, if you take Upadhi as Upadhi, it won't obstruct. It will abstract if you take Upadhi as real.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, the typical example of Upadhi is a red flower kept in front of a crystal.
Crystal,
Crystal looks red. So redness is not upadhi. The crystal looking red, if you take it as real, it becomes upadhi.
Oh, okay.
You know very well, the crystal is crystal clear. It doesn't have any color. It is because of the red flower in front of it, it looks red.
That's why it says chopsticks here. Now I understand.
So what you have to do, you don't have to remove anything. You don't have to remove upadhi. You have to understand that it is upadhi, that's all. That is the beauty. That is why that aham vrikshasya reriva, that sloka prayer in the Sikshavalli of Taittiriya, which generally is very famous. Aham vrikshasya reriva kirti prishtam giririva udva pavitro vajiniva sumamrutamasmi dravina gumcha varchasam sumeda mrito kshitaha iti trishangor vedanu vachanam. There is a prayer before we get into Anandavalli of understanding reality. In the Sikshavalli, the previous portion of Siksha, that why this prayer is kept, because aham vrikshasya reriva, like the samsara viksha, let me understand. Reriva means generally people will think, let me cut this samsara, let me win over this samsara. You cannot win over this samsara, you cannot cut samsara. Samsara will, samsarati means it will keep going. You have to understand. Prerayita iva meaning, let me discern. Let me discern. What changes will keep changing. But my reality is changeless. If I understand that, you will be able to cross over samsara without pain. You don't have to do anything, you have to only understand. So the whole Vedanta is only understanding, it is not doing. Okay, doing and prayer and all that, some doing is involved to get the mind ready, the internal infrastructure ready to understand this reality. So finally, what happens is only understanding only helps. Only jnate dvaitam na vidyate. Once you understand, there is no second in life. Only I am there. Then where is the question of dukkha or sukha or samsara? In me only everything is, there is only one being. There is only one being, where is the question of samsara? So that is what. For that understanding to happen, you need to do a few things. You have to understand, you have to have a congruent lifestyle first. What I think I should do, what I say I should do. So the congruence, the arjavam is important. Then only you will be able to learn anything new. Otherwise, all the time you will be thinking one thing, doing something, and all the time you will be alaypayade kanna. So that way no learning is possible. So for that purpose, a certain style of living, all those things you have to organize. That organization involves some doing, no doubt. But that is all only upakara. Upakara meaning only upaya, only an instrumentality. It is not knowledge. Knowledge is this, understanding that Chaitanya, my reality is the being equal to that of Ishvara. So likewise, Ishvara says, in me all these things are happening, I must be able to accept all these things are happening in my being, my consciousness. So everywhere, wherever Swami Bhagavan says, Mam, Gita, you must be able to put yourself there. Then understanding of Gita is complete. That's what he wants, basically. That's why he keeps on telling this. Swamiji keeps on telling this.
For the same Parameshwara, there are two types of upadhis. Chara, that which perishes, and Akshara, that which does not perish. There are two different ways of looking at the Lord in order to ascertain the truth. It is free from Chara and Akshara. This is done by first creating a superimposition, Adhyaropa, and then by negating that, Apavada. For these two upadhis are presented by the Shastra. The Chara upadhi we know, though we do not know it as upadhi, an upadhi. And Akshara upadhi is revealed by the Shastra. These two different upadhis for Brahman having been mentioned, the aim is to point out the Vastu for which these two are upadhis. Without the attributes of the upadhis, the Vastu is revealed by the method of Adhyaropa Apavada. Adhyaropa, apavada. Superimposition and negation.
Yeah, that is what we have been discussing now. What I have been telling you is that basically is both the Kshara meaning changing, Akshara mean not changing. So only with reference to the changing, non-changing is called non-changing.
Yes.
Only relative. With reference to changing, changeless is real. Changing. Whereas in reality there is only changeless. There is no Kshara and Akshara. Okay, both are mentioned for you to relate properly. Adhyaropa apavada meaning the change, the changed world, changing world is adhyaropitam. Adhyaropitam meaning adhyasena aropitam. In the sense, as though. Adhyasa meaning as though. As though all these things are varieties are there and all that is aropitam, superimposed on the changeless reality. So, okay, that is how all of us live. Like Niyama, Nama, Rupa, the world is there. Last month this was like this, next month this was like this. And so all those things, like there is something really happening and all that. These are all adhyaropitam, adhyasa aropitam, adhyasena samma. In the sense, it's changing reality is superimposed on the changeless. But what is in reality is only the changeless. Chaitanyam is the only reality. Ishvara and Jiva both are adhyaropitam. There is no like Ishvara separate from Jiva, Jiva separate from Ishvara. So, if you understand that, once that understand, if you are able to do the apavada, meaning negate that differences between Ishvaratvam and Jivatvam, then reality automatically gets established. That is what he says, that the whole thing is a method. The whole thing is only a prakriya, which I have told all the time. Prakriya means a method. Life itself is a method through which you understand the reality. So life is itself a method. So that is what Adhyaropa Apavadapyam Nishprapancham Prapanchade. That part of it is not told here. We have told that.
No, but we have that chapter 13.
Yeah. So Adhyaropa Apavadapyam Nishprapancham Prapancham. Prapancham is the reality. Prapancha is superimposed. Prapancha means what? Prapancha is not just theoretical. All your Panchabhuta is Prapancha. All your 5 Indriyas, Prapancha. All whatever you make out of it by inference and all that, science, technology, all that is continuously making use of the pramanas and keep doing that. And all of them are not separate from the reality. Because of the reality of that changeless Chaitanya, all are possible. All that order, various orders are possible. Science, technology, all that astronomy, everything is possible because of the vibhuti of the being. And that is the truth of both Ishvara and as well as Jiva. So we must be able to look at them as just the vibhutis, changing vibhutis of my being. Once you understand it, then you don't get overwhelmed by that. You are able to do the apavada. In understanding, it's a question of understanding. You don't have to do anything outside. You must be able to discern it in your psyche. So that you take out all that samsaritvam. I am afflicted by the world. That has to go. That's all. No, that's our purpose in life. You don't want to be afflicted.
Yes.
That once the affliction goes, your natural state of being full and complete and happy, ananda, is there. You don't acquire that. This affliction has to go. That affliction will go with that apavada. That is understanding only. Not by doing anything. That's what he says, yeah.
Verses 16 and 17. The Kshara and Akshara Purusha. Dvavimau Purushau Loke. Ksharakshakshara evacha. Ksharas sarvani bhutani. Kutastho kshara uchyate. Ksharaha cha, the perishable. Aksharaha eva cha, and the imperishable. Dvau imau Purushau. These 2 persons exist. Loke, in the world. Sarvani bhutani. All beings and elements. Ksharaha are called the perishable. Kutastaha, the changeless. Aksharaha uchyate is called the imperishable. These 2 persons, the perishable and the imperishable, exist in the world. All beings and elements are called the perishable. The changeless is called the imperishable.
Yeah, the changeless only now he is explaining in this word, in this verse. Uttama Purushastu Anyaha. That is what next verse. Yeah.
Purushastvanyah Paramaatmetyudahridah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vibhatyavyaya Ishvaraha. Tu, but Yaha, the one who, Avyayaha, the changeless, Ishvaraha, the Lord, Lokatrayam, the three worlds, Avishya, having entered, Bibhati, sustains them, Uttamaha Purushaha, the superior person, Anyaha, the other, Paramatma iti Udahritaha, is called the Paramatma, limitless self. But the other superior person is called the Paramatma, limitless self, the changeless Lord, who, having entered the three worlds, sustains them. In the first verse,
So,
he says,
see, just imagine, we generally think that the Akshara, the Akshara means who is dominating all the Kshara, Purusha, Karma, Phala, Ishwaratvam. We think that is what. He says, both Uttama Purusha is beyond Kshara and Akshara. Both are Upadis. So, the Ishwaratvam also is Upadi, Jivatvam also is Upadi. Whereas the Swarupa of Ishvara and Swarupa of Jiva is Uttama Purusha, the changeless Chaitanyam. That is, he is the Paramatma. That is why I say, when he says Paramatma, Atma is already there. Atma is you. So Bhagavan identifies himself with you, rather than you are identifying with Paramatma, with Bhagavan. So Bhagavan says, other superior person is called Paramatma. Limitless self. Self means Atma. So your reality alone, the changeless Lord, which is happening in both Kshara and Akshara.
and what
That is it.
they say Pratyekatma, Swamiji?
Pratyekatma is you. Yes, Pratyekatma is you only. Pratyek means what? Inside. Pratyek. What is inside? Is you. Pratyekatma Parameshwara. Actually, some places Shankara says Pratyekatma Parameshwara. Pratyekatma Parameshwara. There is no differentiation.
Oh.
It is the Atma and Paramatma. Jivatma and Paramatma. But Jivatvam, as separate from Ishwaratvam, we impute Kshara and Akshara and all that. That is why both are called Upadis. It appears, it is not real. And that appearance is basically as a Adhyaropa, as part of the Prakriya. Till the time where you are operating, you operate, every one of us operate from. Hello? Yeah. Who is the driver? Just send a message. Divakar, no? Okay, number you have now, you send it. Okay. Yeah. So, that is precisely what he is trying to tell here. Both Akshara Purusha and Kara Purusha is only referential. Whereas Uttama Purusha is the changeless being. That is the reality of Ishvara as well as you.
Slowly breathe.
Ishwaratvam and Jivatvam are Kshara and Akshara. Uttama Purusha is the changeless being. And that is very obvious. Paramatma meaning Chaitanyam. It doesn't undergo, it is Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam. There cannot be two Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam. No. Logically also, Desakala Vastu Aparichinnam cannot be two.
Yes.
Changeless. Well, that is what he says. The changeless Lord, who having entered the three worlds, sustains them. So that is what he wants to drive that understanding. The Asipada, the Tvam Asi, the Asipada, the equation is complete in this 15th chapter. Everywhere he says Chaitanya Ishvara, Chaitanya Ishvara, Chaitanya Ishvara. Till the time you understand, okay, you have to go with Ishvara, no problem. Doesn't matter. Devotee Ishvara relationship is okay.
So now it is Chaitanyam. Now it is Chaitanyam Purushottama.
Yeah, Chaitanyam is Purushottama.
Okay.
Exactly. Chaitanyam is Purushottama. And Chaitanyam is what? Chit Swarupa, Sat Swarupa is changeless Atma. Somehow, somehow, in the sense we start like that, all of us start with that ignorance. But even after learning also, there is always that, how can I be, my Surupa can be Ishvara. That doubt is there. That is where meditation is there. That is where you have to do the mananam. Then you understand this from various standpoints, which Swamiji himself does, Gita Vamsam. Very well he does. You have to keep on reading it. Understand it thoroughly. Then mananam will also be over. Then once this understanding there, then meditation is not to be Ishvara in meditation. It's a blessing thing. What is the problem? But the understanding has to happen first. Otherwise, you will feel restless in meditation.
Yes.
It doesn't help.
Yes. Understanding. Most important.
Yes.
Okay, then I think we'll.
Swamiji, so next 3. Next.
Yeah, 28. Next class is on 28th, Sunday.
28th.
2 weeks.
Sunday.
I'll send a message also that you can. Okay.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.